Hello everybody and welcome to my May plan with me. I had so much fun with this bullet journal. It took me in a surprising direction and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I apologize for it being a little bit late, but what can you do? So, starting off my bullet journal, I do the same thing every single time, which is laying down the foundation work. So on the left-hand side is my monthly spread. This is where I have my monthly calendar, my month title, as well as a spot to track my credit score and my goal setting. To the right there is where I usually have my budget spread, but that's kind of where things went off the rails. I'm sure you saw I did 3 lines there instead of just 2, thinking that I had 3 paychecks this month, but I don't. So that's a little bit of a mistake that I had to problem solve and think about how to fix for the future. I do my monthly calendar by numbering the letters down the side of the page. Next to it I have the days of the week, and I just really like this setup. I'm not one for really filling out my calendar besides like major holidays and events that I want to keep track of. So this method really works for me. I've seen other methods where people do squares for each day of the month and have like a 2-page spread, but I use my Google Calendar for keeping track of anything like my work schedule and day-to-day tasks like that. So some important holidays I wanted to highlight for the month of May. The first is Beltane or May Day, which is a pagan holiday, and it's kind of has a lot to do with fertility and the start of spring. On May 4th, of course, Star Wars Day. May 5th is Cinco de Mayo, or Revenge of the 5th. We have Mother's Day on the 10th, and then we have Memorial Day at the end of the month. I also like to keep track of the cycles of the moon. And as you can see, I'm just going through and titling each section. So I'm going to have my goals at the top this month. And for my goals, I wanted to keep them kind of lighthearted. I really didn't succeed in very many of my goals set for April, so this one I just kind of wanted to do some things I knew I would enjoy doing and would be easy to do since I'm kind of slowly getting back into my daily routine now that things are opening up slowly over and over again. And then for my weeklies, I do the Alistar method, which is a really simple and easy layout. You just have the days of the week, and then each task you want to accomplish throughout the week, you'll leave a little bullet mark for them, cross them out, or migrate them if you did or did not achieve those during the end of the week. Of April was probably one of the calmest but also chaotic times of my life. Although my daily life was low-key and relaxed, it was a fragile bubble for the heavy atmosphere, finding ways to penetrate and attack from even the most innocent of places. Because of the situation, I wasn't drawn towards my goals or even the use of my journal over the whole month of April. I took a leave of absence from my work, which continued to throw off the routines and add to the static noise in my head. I was drawn towards playing video games, finding a sweet escape from the reality and the warm and simple comforts of Animal Crossing. Its easily achievable goals and low expectations married to form a sense of accomplishment that wasn't provided from outside stimulus. I was able to join my friends in parties and groups on the servers and build something I'm very proud of, which is my Animal Crossing town. As the weeks mulled on and I continued to expose myself to daylight and light physical activity, my imagination and inspiration would peek through the clouds of uncertainty, allowing me manic bursts of productivity to keep me sane. Although I did not accomplish the heavy-hitting goals for the month of April, there was still a lot I did manage to achieve. I deep cleaned my room, swapped my wardrobe from winter to spring, and these took several days to accomplish, but it quelled the urges to order and shop online by introducing me to new clothes I already owned. I wore dresses and did my makeup, and I also didn't shower for days and laid in my room. It was really both sides of the spectrum. I built a second computer and laid the foundation work for my new gaming channel, Simulator Gaming, which will be linked in the upper right-hand corner. I texted my family the most in years, and my roommate taught himself some new recipes which sparked a passion for cooking again. My husband put in the legwork to start streaming and is close to achieving Twitch partnership. While creating these spreads, I made a mistake in my budgeting, and it drove me crazy. A simple miscount on my month of May was already headed in the same direction as April, but with this little accident, I got inspired to whip out my watercolors and do some abstract and simple painting. Not only did this budget spread turn out to be the highlight of this month, it also got my mind out of a negative spiral. I have an inner monologue begging for perfection, acceptance, and it can be the loudest and evilest spell my mind can cast. Calming and dissipating that emotion eased attention by working out a problem I could actually fix. Although things are chaotic, uncertain, out of control, I'm happy I was able to spend the time learning and pursuing things I didn't even think of or imagine at the beginning of this month. If you find yourself in the same boat, allow the space to breathe and cut yourself some slack. In this community of productivity, many of us derive our self-worth from what we are able to create. But you are more than that. You are alive and existing, and that is more than enough. You are more than enough. Once my masterpiece was complete, a simple technique I literally watched a YouTube video about 5 minutes before jumping into it. I glued it into my bullet journal with just a glue stick and used a ruler to smooth it out and make sure it was stuck on there pretty well. As you can see, the design is some beautiful foliage, whether those be bushes or treetops or just green stuff in a yellow background. I love it. It's very nice to look at, and it was a bunch of fun to create. And it's so vastly different from anything else I have in my bullet journal. It's gonna really stand out. The page does have a little bit more thickness to it, so that's probably gonna help it stand out a little bit. But the point of this spread is to cover up my budgeting spread. So I went ahead and I added my budgeting tables, squares to the page. Reminded me of my old bullet journal because I used to have to go through and add these little dots for every place that I wanted to create a line. I had to freehand every line in my old bullet journal, which became very tedious, which is why I switched to a dot grid journal. But it definitely reminded me of that, made me feel a little bit nostalgic, and reminded me of where I was a year and 2 years ago, which was really, really nice. So my tables are really simple. The ones on the left-hand side is for my expenses. These are bills that I have every single month. They're due the same amount. They're due at the same time each month, and the amounts are the same each. Then I go through and I highlight the days that I have paydays for my main job over on my monthly spread, and then I add those dates over onto my budgeting spread so I know, or I can organize which bills are going to be due which paycheck. And then you'll see me go over and transfer over all of my expenses. The ones on the right hand side is my savings and debt trackers, so those are like due dates for credit cards and student loans, as well as tracking how much I'm contributing to my 401k plan and my IRA and my emergency fund for each paycheck. A secret to budgeting and becoming the true adult you've always aspired to be is to pay yourself into your savings and debt first. I allocate 30% of my income towards savings and debt. If I don't have any debt due, it goes into savings, and vice versa. I did splurge over the month of April, so I am going to be paying off some debts. However, my 401k contributions are automatically deducted from my paychecks, and I have my second job, which goes directly into paying off my credit card, which I use for big ticket items as well as groceries, so that way I can get those bonus points. go through and I add a title to my monthly spread. May is very simple and easy to hand letter, so I just went with the traditional hand lettering style here. And I will continue to finish adding decorations to my spreads. Holographic washi tape, of course, you have to do it, as well as some thin washi tape to kind of divide up the page and make it look less minimal compared to that watercolor on the opposite side of the spread. And I'm also going to add some Star Wars stickers, you know, May. Whether you celebrate May the 4th or Mer-May or whatever it is, there's always some fun community events going on. And thank you so much for watching this plan with me. Until I see you next time, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye-bye.